ladies and gentlemen, pro wrestling fans. My name is Matt DeCourt. I'm happy to, as always, say that I am one of the voices of Coliseum Pro Wrestling, and this is Redemption Aftermath. Ladies and gentlemen, Coliseum Pro Wrestling held Redemption February 11th, and dare I say, it was the best event in Coliseum Pro Wrestling's young history. We saw a new Coliseum Pro Wrestling champion get crowned. That is No Mercy Hunter Tarka. And folks, I just want to say right now, we got some good news. Hunter Tarka and the Coliseum Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Lorenzo Vendetta and Jake Lynn, will be joining me to answer some questions and talk about their success later on tonight. And let me tell you what, everybody, Redemption, once again, was just an absolutely incredible event. We saw 4 championship matches on the card. Sunset Steve Garcia defended the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Alley Fights Championship against Jack Dalton. We got a little update on Jack Dalton's condition after that match coming your way later as well. And also, we saw the Red Lion, Chris Battle, take on Dustin Flash Waller. This was a rivalry renewed, and it was just as intense, just as fierce as all of their previous encounters. Dare I say, even better than all of those previous encounters combined. And it was an incredible title defense for the Red Lion, and we're very excited to see what's next for the Strong Will Championship at Coliseum Pro Wrestling. And one of the reasons why the Strong Will Championship is very important is not just because it represents the strong will of the champion and those fighting for it. It also represents the strong will of people who have beaten cancers, that have come back from crippling addictions to drugs, alcohol, anything like that. It takes a very strong will, a very strong character to overcome those obstacles. And that is the big reason that we call it the Strong Will Championship here at Coliseum Pro Wrestling. So once again, it's not just about the competitors in the ring with that championship, it's about the meaning, it's about people who fight and show their strong will to overcome any obstacles that they face in life. At this time, I would like to introduce your Coliseum Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions, No Love, Lorenzo Vendetta, and the Knee Machine, Jake Lynn.
How you doing? Good to see you. Jake, how you doing? What's up, man? All right. Let's go.
All right, gentlemen. I was actually almost about to call you guys Battle Academy, but I nearly slipped my mind because I had called you that for so long, and now I know that you have since moved on from that, and you are now the tag team known as Demon Time.
You see, so you know us. We're very brash individuals. Sometimes we do things without thinking.
Maybe a little too brash.
So we're not going by Demon Time anymore. Slightly not okay meaning that we weren't aware of. So we are now known as the Black Sheep, because we rebel against everything that anybody tells us to do. We do exactly what we want. We've listened to Chris for way too long, and now being known as the Black Sheep has changed everything for us.
Gotcha. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. We now have the tag team known as the Black Sheep of Lorenzo Vendetta and Jake Lynn. And one thing I want to touch on, guys, is regardless of what your team name is, you guys seem to have an incredibly strong bond. You know each other very well. You just seem like you have an incredible amount of fun, not only when you're in the ring together, but when you're outside of the ring. How does that strong bond come into play when you're wrestling inside the ring?
Let me peel back the curtain a little bit. A lot of tag teams, they'll tell you that they've known each other since they were born, or they've known each other for like 10 years or something like that. Me and Zoe met like 2 years ago when we first started training together. And ever since then, like, we were put together in Battle Academy, and now us together in Black Sheep, we're able to bond a lot more, and we're able to come together. And I feel like that bond that we created back when we were training, back when we were at Battle Academy, it's definitely helped us, especially because we've been working our asses off day in, day out, trying to get better, and we've been pushing each other. That's pretty much how it works.
You also got to think too that like the stuff that Chris put us through, like the intense training, but also like the verbal and physical abuse, you know, the manipulation, that just brought us closer together too. It's like, you know, brotherhood kind of forged through that pain and trauma of having to, you know, be at his beck and call, you know, help him win his matches because he couldn't do it on his own, all that stuff. So that really brought us closer together as well.
Gotcha. And we spoke of your bond. The tag team that you faced at Redemption, Hustle and Muscle, they also have, in my opinion, a very strong bond. Yeah. Hustle and Muscle, of course, is 2/4 or 1/2, if you're good with fractions, of the firm. And Richard E. Stone, Esquire, Jay Bricks, they are a very tough team. Dare I say, one of the toughest tag teams in the independent scene today. Yeah. I think it actually might have been your toughest test as tag team champions of Coliseum Pro Wrestling. Would you guys agree? How did you feel about that match?
Yeah, my knee still hurts. I still walk with a limp, not gonna lie to you. We actually, after the match happened, we went bowling. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody. Well, we really like bowling. It's really good. I'm pretty good, I would say. But you know, after that match, I just sucked. You know, I just couldn't. I wasn't on my game.
That's all right, bro. That's all right. It's all right. We're the champs. That's what matters. You'll get your average back up. It's fine. It's tough. It was tough watching him take that beating. You know, they're just working his legs so hard. You know, that's the only way you're going to keep a big guy down. You know, you break him down at his roots. So just watching him have to struggle through that, I was just waiting for him to tag me in, and once he tagged me in, I just let loose on both of them. And they're tough nuts to crack. You know, they have the same dynamic as we do. You know, they got the big strong guy and the small fast guy. So it was more of an even matchup than we had expected. You know, we always knew that they were great, but they put up a whole hell of a fight. And that black hole slam that Jay Bricks gave me, that still hurts my ribs.
I want to shout out to Jay Bricks, even though I know that we beat him. It took a lot for him to stay down. I put him in a modified triangle. I've never thought about using any sort of like tactical submission to make anybody pass out. And it took that man like 20 seconds to pass out in an actual triangle. That man is strong.
Yeah, when you're facing people as good as that, you gotta pull out all the stops, and you gotta try to come up with stuff that you don't even know that you have in you to try to beat them. You know, things that you watch and tape that you've never tried before, you gotta just try to hit them with it. That way they stay down, because some of the stuff that you might do in your day-to-day, in your regular trainings and your regular matches, you know, it might not even work. So.
Never let them know your next move.
Exactly.
Never.
Exactly.
And that's a good segue there, Jake. Talking about next moves, I believe that once again, the Northeast independent wrestling scene has some of, if not the best tag teams available for competition out there.
Yeah.
You guys, in my opinion, are one of, if not the best up-and-coming tag team currently. So, who's on your radar? Is there anyone in particular that you would look forward to putting those championship titles up against?
There's a couple people. Obviously, there's like the homegrown talents. I always love wrestling with the Haven. They're really good talents. Sean and Jay, kind of like brothers to us. We've been through it with them a lot, and I don't know. I feel like now that we've gotten a little bit more experience, I feel like we could actually put on a semi-decent performance against them, and maybe actually come out with a win against them. Then there's the obvious cloud in the room, the Miracle Generation. They've been taking over they're actually taking over the country. They're going to California. California. That's crazy, dog.
Yeah.
Like,
it's insane.
If we could be able to face them and beat them, that would be just another big belt notch. That would be another notch in the belt, honestly. I can't really think of any other teams.
You got to think, like, our careers started with them, so it's only fitting that we defend the belts against either the Haven or Miracle Generation. You know, I've had my, you know, no pun intended, vendettas against Flash and Kai before. I've had my singles matches with them, and they whooped my ass. So at this point, I think that nothing would feel better for me than to beat them, both of them, at the same time.
Honestly, I will say, like, it doesn't matter who they put against us, because we're just gonna kick them. We're gonna beat them.
These belts are staying with us. So
it's still first and last.
First and last.
That's pretty much it, man. I mean, like, no matter who they throw at us, like, we're just gonna dispatch them like that, man. Like, it only takes a stomp and a knee for us to retain these titles.
That's it.
Like, for real. I don't know.
So for all you watching, if you think you have what it takes to step in the ring with us, give it your best shot. I promise you, we're gonna come out on top. Put up a good fight, and we'll see what happens with you.
Heard that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, a bold statement being made by the tag team known as the Black Sheep, No Love Lorenzo Vendetta, the Knee Machine Jake Lynn. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me here on Redemption Aftermath.
Thank
It's
you.
always a
You know what?
pleasure.
You know what, Matt Court? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I like your shirt.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It was Coliseum colors. You know,
Purple.
that's
I got purple glasses. It's cool.
And all right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a little bit. I mentioned earlier the Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Championship defense, the Alley Fights Championship, Sunset Steve Garcia against Jack Dalton. We're going to be providing an update on Jack Dalton's condition right after this.
Ready or not, here I come. Ready or not, you. Ready or not. Ready or
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Coliseum Pro Wrestling Redemption Aftermath. Now, as I mentioned a little earlier, there was a Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling Alley Fights Championship title defense. Sunset Steve Garcia put it on the line against the guy, Jack Dalton. Unfortunately, in that match, Jack Dalton suffered a broken ankle. He's going to be out for a little while, but the good news is that he is expected to make a full recovery and return to the ring. So it's going to be a little while, but we fully expect him to be back. And another thing I mentioned earlier is strong will. And if there's one thing I do know, it's that Jack Dalton has an incredibly strong will. So we here at Coliseum Pro Wrestling wish him a very speedy recovery, a very successful recovery. And just like you folks, I cannot wait to see him back. And also, that wasn't the only championship on the line. The heavyweight championship at Coliseum Pro Wrestling was on the line, not just once, but twice. Lucas Chase defended it against Bulldog Ray Pittman, and then after that, he said he had one more in him, and Hunter Tarka answered the challenge and became the new Coliseum Pro Wrestling champion. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome No Mercy Hunter Tarka, the new Coliseum Pro Wrestling champion.
How's it going, Matt?
Hunter, how are you?
Good, man, good. Actually, you know what? I got this now, so I'm doing great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It does look good on you, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, Hunter, I was talking to Jake and Lorenzo earlier, and I found out that they are now known as the Black Sheep. So with that said, I just want to make sure, are you a Black Sheep as well?
I am. Honestly, I think it fits us better anyways, you know. When I think of the definition of black sheep, it's almost like a reject, almost like somebody that's, you know, not to the norms of society, and that's kind of all of us. You know, Jake, you know, he's a little goofy, and Lorenzo's, you know, one of those hard partiers. You know, I'm kind of a loner. You know, I spend a lot of time outside. I spend a lot of time, you know, I work on a farm. You know, I'm far away from most society most of the time. So, you know, I think it does fit us better than Demon Time.
Sounds good. And I talked about with Lorenzo and Jake the bond, and you share that bond with them. The three of you, I think, are tremendous as a group. And not only do you have the Coliseum Pro Wrestling Championship, they have the Tag Team Championships. So 3 out of the 4 Coliseum Pro Wrestling Championships are in the Black Sheep's possession. How does that feel?
Not bad, man. Not bad. It's pretty incredible. You know, to get that kind of head start in a brand new company is you know, it's awesome. You know, there's no other real word for it. Jake and them, like you said, being the tag champs. There's a lot of up-and-coming tag teams in the area that they're going to have the opportunity to face that maybe they wouldn't in other companies, so. And same thing here, there's a lot of superstars in the Northeast that are making a lot of headway in this game. And, I'm going to have the chance to face some of them. That's pretty exciting.
Absolutely. And I think everyone has seen the video that you put out not too long ago. As we know, not too long ago when you were in Battle Academy, there was a lot of tension towards the end there, a lot. And I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if the three of you guys would still be together after that. You posted the video where you went off in the woods to find yourself. So just kind of give everybody like a little insight on that. What was it that you were looking for, and what did you find when you did that?
I wouldn't use the terms finding myself. I think I knew who I was and who I've been. Like I said, I'm a loner. Before those guys, even now I don't have very many friends, and that's kind of by choice. I'm very kind of an isolated person. So by going into the woods, it was more of making a decision of, can I still trust these guys? Obviously, in the last match I had before I took off, Lorenzo kicked me in the face. Hindsight being what it is, I know that he was aiming for bricks and bricks moved out of the way, but at the time, my bell was rung. I wasn't all there, and all of a sudden my friend kicked me in the face. Coming to that following show, my intent was to turn on them, because that was still what was playing in my head. He attacked me, he jumped me. But I decided one last time to check the tape, just to be sure, because that's a pretty big step, that's a big move. And in checking the tape, it was obvious that he was aiming for Jay. There was no way he could have seen me behind him. So when Jay moved, he got me. So, and I'm glad I did, because that would have been a huge mistake on my part had I not. And now, here we are, the Black Sheep, 3 out of 4 in CPW. We're doing pretty good.
Absolutely. And how you gained that championship was a very interesting scenario. As I mentioned before I welcomed you in to join me here, Lucas Chase already had one championship defense under his belt that night.
Right.
When he beat Bulldog Ray Pittman. And then after that, he grabbed the microphone and he said he felt great. He said he felt like he could go again, and he dared anybody to come out and challenge him right there on the spot. And you answered the call. So what was going through your head in the back when you were listening to Lucas talk, when you were hearing him ranting and raving like that? And basically, what made you think that this was your moment and your time to capitalize and become the Coliseum Pro Wrestling Champion?
Well, as you know, at the West Haven Elks Lodge, there's a little slot that we can see through when we're watching the matches. So I did, because I think both of those guys, both Ray Pittman and Lucas Chase, are obviously two phenomenal talents. So that was a match I wanted to watch. So I did, and I saw the finish of the match. I went to sat down, I started undoing my tape, and then I heard him moving his mouth. He likes to do that. He does a lot. Yes. Generally, whatever, it's background noise when it's him, I don't know out there. But, this time I was kind of paying attention. I heard him say that, and I said, I was sitting there, I looked up, and I decided, I had a match earlier that night too. I wrestled Alan Bano. Thought, I feel pretty good too. I think I can go again also. So I got up, head to the ring, took the mic home, and said, let's go. And the rest is history.
Absolutely. And after you won it, I believe your brother came into the ring with you?
Yes, he did.
And of course, Lorenzo and Jake joined you as well. Just what was that like, being with your literal brother and your metaphorical brothers in the ring, celebrating that big victory?
Well, I made the Facebook and Instagram post that all my brothers in one ring. To me, it's not metaphorical. They're as close to me as blood. And then, me and my brother are very close. So him being there was words can't really describe that. I didn't expect it. He kind of just came up. It was awesome. We had a cool moment. And when Lucas came back in, he blowed his chest to Lucas, so I was pretty proud of him. I was pretty proud. But this is the biggest accomplishment of my career to date. World Heavyweight Championship. And only 2 years in, that's pretty awesome. So I keep saying it, but words can't really describe, what we're doing right now. It feels unbelievable.
Awesome. And now that you have the Coliseum Pro Wrestling Championship, you are now the top dog or top sheep, I should say, at Coliseum Pro Wrestling. And that was something you touched on earlier, is that there is a tremendous amount of talent here in the Northeast that probably has their eyes on that prize. So is there anyone that you're looking at as a potential opponent? Is there anybody that you think is looking at you to try and take that championship off of you?
Well, I can't imagine Lucas Chase is overly happy with what happened. So I figure, he may come back for a rematch. And if that's the case, I'll be ready for him. I think Ray Pittman, he was in that main event that night. I think it would be awesome being in the ring with a guy like him. Honestly, man, it's open for anybody. Whoever thinks they're ready, whoever thinks that they, like I said, I'm only 2 years in. I would say I haven't finished paying my dues, but I got one of these now. It's more of, seizing the opportunity, having that opportunity for success.
See what you did there.
So come and take it, anybody. Bring it on. It's open season, that's all I was saying.
Sounds good, my friend. And so, being the champion, I'm just going to leave this out to you. The floor is yours. Anything else you'd like to say to the fans?
I want to thank you all for your continued support. This championship means a lot, and we got another show coming up.
You do?
So come see me defend my title. My boys Lorenzo and Jake defend their titles. I'm sure there's going to be a plethora of other great matches on that card.
Wouldn't doubt it.
So keep your eyes open. Follow the CPW Facebook, Instagram pages. Follow me, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, @TheHunterTarka. Follow Jake Lynn. Follow Lorenzo Vendetta on social platforms, and come see us kick some ass.
You heard it from the champ, everybody. The Coliseum Pro Wrestling Champion, No Mercy, Hunter Tarka. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, I will be back to wrap up Coliseum Pro Wrestling Redemption Aftermath in just a little bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and with that, we are at the end of the road here at Coliseum Pro Wrestling Redemption Aftermath. Thank you all very much for joining me. Thank you very much to the Black Sheep for coming and joining me. Once again, 3 of the 4 Coliseum Pro Wrestling Championships are on their shoulders, around their waist, however you want to put it. And we are on the road to Opportunity for Success 2. That is coming your way very soon. Make sure you're staying tuned to Coliseum Pro Wrestling on the social media accounts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, match announcements for it, ticket information, all news related to Coliseum Pro Wrestling. Those are your go-to sources. So like, subscribe, and share on the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And make sure you look up Coliseum Pro Wrestling on YouTube as well. The Redemption videos are all up on there, so you can check it out, relive the action, or show all your friends exactly what a tremendous night of professional wrestling action they missed. So once again, like, subscribe, and share Coliseum Pro Wrestling on YouTube as well. And once again, Opportunity for Success 2 is coming your way. I guarantee you it's an event that you are not going to want to miss. So folks, once again, thank you for joining me tonight. And thank you very much for supporting Coliseum Pro Wrestling. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Take care, everyone.